I'm a spiritual being just like you on a human journey, and we're here to fulfill a soul purpose. Now, what's up with this plant? Like, what is he holding now? Man. Well, I'm going to use this plant as a metaphor for your life, but I do have a question for you. Like always, my question is, do you feel like you're under a glass ceiling? What's that mean? Like that glass ceiling. What's Marceau, right? What's that called? I'm in this glass box and I can see through it, and my vision and everything I want and desire is just on the other side. But what is that stopping me? It's like sometimes you feel like you're 6 feet tall, stuck under a 4-foot ceiling. You know, our life feels cramped. God, no wonder we have back pain, right? So why is that? Well, we develop limiting beliefs when we're so young, and they get wired into our subconscious mind, and these patterns and belief systems are running like a tape, and we're not even conscious of what they are, but yet we're seeing everything that we want and we get stuck. So it's kind of like this plant right here. Here we go. Right? We see these beautiful flowers. Here's the vision, right? And then here's the stalk and then the roots. This is like our belief systems in our subconscious mind, and we know the roots determine how the plant goes. Now imagine if there was a ceiling on this plant, and this is as far as it could grow. What happened? It would grow, it would hit the ceiling, and then it would bend and try and get through, and it would contort, and it would bend, and next thing you know, it would look like a vine, but it would never grow past that point. That's what happens in our limiting beliefs. So what happens? So what I'd like you to do is we're going to identify, so take a deep breath. And then what I want you to think about is, what statement have you always heard when you're growing up? What was that thing over and over and over again? Or what happened in your life where you made an emotionally based decision? That's it, I'm doing this. So I have an example. When I was 19 years old, I came home from college. I was a freshman. I came home for the summer to work. And one night in the middle of the night, I'm sleeping in my Speed Racer bed with my feet hanging over the edge, because that was my little kid's bed. Not really, but it's a funny story. Anyway, I hear this whimpering in the other room. So I go in the other room, and it's my mom crying in the middle of the night, because my mom and my dad's marriage was falling apart at that time. They ended up getting divorced. And I remember consoling her in the middle of the night and all that compassion. And I said to myself, I'm never coming home again. Not only did I never move home, I moved out of state for 21 years, and I only came home to see my family maybe a couple times a year for 2 decades. And when I identified this recently, hey, I moved back to Newport Beach, I'm with my family, spending great time with them, and it's truly valued. That was a 19-year-old running my life. Okay, I did this other clearing with one of my clients, and when we took him back, and when he was 3 years old, his older brother got in big trouble with his dad. I don't know what he did, but he saw his dad, kicking his older brother's butt, right? And he's 3 years old under this chair thinking, oh my God, what's happening? And he made a decision at that time that I'm not going to stand out. I'm going to do what I'm told. I'm not going to take any risks. And so he comes to me in his 30s, he's like, Doc, I just can't reach my goals. So here's a 3-year-old decision deciding, I'm not going to step out. I'm not going to stand out. I'm not going to take risks. So what's happening? A lot of these limiting beliefs that happen between 0 and mostly 7 years old, we have a 3-year-old running our life. We have a 5-year-old running our life, right? So the real question is, how do we clear that? Because do we want a 5-year-old running my life? Okay, all you guys think this is funny that I got to check my notes, but it's all good, right? So when we see this flower has potential to grow to great heights, to bloom great flowers, right? And so this is like who we are. It has all this potential. What do we realize first? God is our source. So Jada, my girlfriend's mother, gave this to us. Thank you, Linda. So it's like the hand of God takes this. He's our source. Resources are second. It's like this ice cube is a resource. So I put this ice cube in. I'm putting it in here once a week. So it's like, yes, that's a resource. The hand of God is our source. Now this plant, now we can feed the roots. Now we know God is our source. Now this becomes our mindset. That lifts off the glass ceiling. Look at these clamps. These clamps represent all those times in our life that we were supported. Hey, there's no question, God definitely supported me. Of course, my mom and my grandmother, Italian grandmother's prayers, why I'm still alive. But also, we have a soul purpose. There's times in your life where you know, man, that was a God thing. I don't know how I made it through there, right? So we look that it keeps us on our path and moving forward. So once you identify your limiting beliefs, we're going to give you a few steps, and I have a few questions for you. What part of you believes that you need this? Now, another limiting belief, I grew up with my mom. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. Why? Because her mother, who was an immigrant from Italy, was the oldest of 9 children who went through the Depression. Now, the oldest, imagine the oldest going through depression, responsible for raising 8 kids. What do you think she said all the time? I can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. What'd you say to my mom? We can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. What did my mom say to us? We can't afford it. Hey, maybe there was conditions where money was a little tight, but it was we can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it, and I had a great life. Okay, so what subconscious tape could be running in my mind? So the question is, why would we need that? Because at that time when my mom was stressed, kids want to be connected to their parents. So I love my mother. So what do I want to do? I want to console her. I want to have compassion. So what do? We take on that energy. You know, many of the belief systems that you have aren't even yours. They're other people's experiences that they developed a belief system and they passed on to you through generations. So the next question would be, if you gave up that belief, would it hurt anyone? So if I gave up that belief, I can't afford it, I can't afford it, I can't afford it, would I be hurting anyone? No. Can I still love my mother? Yeah. Can I love her even more? Exactly. Does that limiting belief affect how you love? Not at all. The next thing, if you let go, would you have to forget or would you have to forgive? It's like, wow, man, there's generational belief systems. So if I think, man, I don't blame my grandmother. She was the oldest of 8, going through the Depression. She brought that on my mom. My mom passed that on to us. I can forgive spiritual ignorance. Because guess what? We all lived a great life. There was food on the table. In fact, in an Italian home on Sundays, there's 20 people at the table with more than enough pasta and meatballs, whatever, you know, and whatever else you're serving. So did we live in abundance? Oh, yeah. Was there tons of love? No question. We actually lived an abundant life. So we can forgive and let go of the spiritual ignorance. So what do we do? Now, what do we do to let go? Number 1, acknowledge it. Did it exist? Yes. Is it false and illusion? Definitely. Is it someone else's energy? Yup. Hey, I can let it go. The second thing, I am free spiritually, and you're in your spirit and you're human. Freedom is what we want to say. I am free. Breathe it in. God is my source. Right? Resources. The world isn't my source. Those are resources, but when God moves through me, resources become available in abundance, right? Now I can give my mind full permission. I give my subconscious mind full permission to release all that emotional energy from my mind, from every cell in my body. Thank God I release it now. Right? I'm a Christian in Jesus' name. That is done and gone. Choose whatever words, whatever you like. It's done. I give myself permission to release it. What else? Then you declare, God, I thank you that you are my source. Resources, things outside aren't my source, but I have your resources in abundance. Your source, God, moves through me like a waterfall, like a fire hose, like a faucet that's wide open. Feel that in your body, pouring through you, man, radiating out. I can feel it right now. Your joy, love, abundance in all ways, relationships, move through me now. Thank you. Touch your body, right? Touch your body. Move that in your brain. It moves through me now. Thank you. Now I can feel it in my body. Now I realize resources are second. God is my source. I have one focus. Man, I have one focus, and that is to illuminate. I don't worry about anything outside. I come into presence. All this will be provided in the right time. It's already done. Last step, take action. Now, when we do all that, man, I got the right roots. I got the right source. All the resources are provided to water these roots, to grow this plant. So God, in these clamps, keep me straight because my mind is focused on a straight path so all this can blossom into your soul purpose. How cool is that? Hey man, pass this around the world. There's millions of people that need this. Hey, we have a vision, over 1 million people around the world getting these messages. So I thank you for sharing. I thank you for commenting. I thank you for getting in touch with the source so that all resources are provided. We don't look outside, we look from the inside out, right? Because that's who we are. Share, comment, and go to Amazon or youaremorepowerful.com. This all comes out of You Are More Powerful Than You Think. Thank you very much. Love you guys. See you next week.